Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Small Caps. I'm your host, Jess Holland, and today we have the pleasure of speaking with Jay Albany, who is the CEO of Wide Open Agriculture. The company has just resumed trading on the ASX today, and the ticker code is WOA. It's great to have you on the show, Jay. Welcome.
Hey, Jess, thanks for having me. Very excited to be here.
Great. So let's just delve straight in, Jay. So the company's just resumed trading on the ASX today. Can you give our small caps audience a quick overview of the company and where the company is at?
Thanks. Wide Open Agriculture is a company that's based on commercializing regenerative produce grown in Australia and particularly Western Australia, where we're based. The company has been listed for 5 years. I became CEO last Christmas. My goal as for the company for the next several years is to focus on what we do best, which is our new hero product, Buntine Protein. It's a lupin-based, plant-based protein isolate that is amazing as an ingredient in all kinds of foods, whether it's vegan or sort of kind of hybrid meat, vegetable food. So we're excited about that.
Amazing. Congratulations, Jay. So let's talk about your hero product, Buntine Protein. Why is this protein superior to other proteins available on the market, in your opinion?
Yes, Jess, that's a good question. So why we're so excited about Buntine Protein, first of all, lupin feedstock, amazing. It's got great health attributes. It's naturally high in protein. It's something that we do really well in Australia, and particularly Western Australia, where we grow more than half of the world's lupins. So exciting. We have a very good background of knowledge and structural advantage just entering the market. Why we also like it is we have a extendable, defensible intellectual property advantage with a license that we have global worldwide exclusivity with Curtin University. We acquired that a little over 2 years ago, and we actually hired in the co-inventor of the technology and built a team that's been perfecting that technology. Now, what it does, before I get into the sciencey stuff, is essentially if anyone's just eaten lupins, and my first time to eat it, you can hear my accent. I've probably not eaten lupins before I moved to Australia. I was given a kind of, I think it was a lupin falafel or a lupin, something or another that was made here, and it tasted really bitter and strong. That's why it's sheep feed. That's why it's just rotated in crops to improve soil and let paddocks relax in a grain cropping season. But what we have done here with Curtin is a post-protein extraction process. Totally a unique step in every kind of protein production, plant protein production in the world, that takes what is a very hard protein structure and unfolds it in a non-chemical way, so that it blends, well, first of all, so that it tastes like nothing, which is totally key, but it gives you a clean taste and it blends, emulsifies, holds a mixture better. So this is a very important breakthrough for plant-based foods. The existing things that are used, if you go to the supermarket, it's soy, pea is coming up as a replacement to soy. They have what the food technicians call a beanie flavor, and they also have their own different sort of starch-heavy attributes, and so they have to add several unnatural ingredients. You might see them when you flip over in the grocery store, an emulsifier, some kind of gum, different oil, all to get the sort of neutral taste and texture that they're going for food creation. With Buntine Protein, you don't have to do any of that. It naturally has those attributes, so they can just focus on making delicious food.
That is so interesting, Jay. So now, sort of shifting to the corporate side of things, now the company has just entered into the European market with a very strategic acquisition. What are the key goals for the company in the European market, firstly, following the acquisition of Prolupin?
Yes, I could not be happier about this deal. It is really a game-changing situation for us, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you just heard me talk for a while about how great Buntine Protein is. Now, we've invested a substantial amount taking this technology to a place where it's at this point in Western Australia. We built a pilot plant. We built a really talented R&D team, and people really like it. Last year, our co-founder, Ben Cole and former CEO, not last year, a few months ago, and went to Chicago and sort of unveiled Buntine Protein as, hey, we're here, we're participating in the global market. Chicago IFT, it's the premier food event in the world's most competitive market in the United States. 3 rows back all week, high interest. We come back, we've announced 2 distributor agreements based on that high interest in North America over the last month. We also announced finalized an agreement we've been working on with an Australian distributor for the eastern states. And basically, the situation is the product is really good now. My goal as CEO is to focus on what we do best, commercial, which is Buntine Protein. It's got the best competitive moat I think I've ever seen, and certainly among our portfolio. And commercialize that as fast as possible with as few resources as possible. So that's kind of the setup. We have an amazing product. We want to make a lot of it and sell it. We need to have higher production capacity to get the big contracts that everyone, including us, want. We're limited in what we can make here without spending a lot of money. Along comes a fortuitous situation where a competitor in the market who we regularly were beating in the B2B market, but has a wonderful IP portfolio and a good engineering team, goes into administration. We were able to get a manufacturing plant that is world-class, that's export accredited, that is designed for Lupin protein production. And it's just missing that key step I told you about earlier that enables for the unfolding of the protein. So we are super excited. It's going to increase our production to commercial scale right away. We will be selling their protein isolate immediately, obviously, next week. We should be able to have our Buntine Protein produced there early in calendar 2024. So just a few months. That is incredible. That is an acceleration of our timetable by probably a year. So very excited. The reason it's even faster and better, because I know you might be thinking, Germany, that's insane. Why are you guys doing that? The companies that make our key equipment that is needed for our step is a 3-hour drive from Bremen. So it is not only going to accelerate our commercial timescale, it's going to de-risk operationally. So very exciting.
That's incredible, Jay. So now you've sort of answered my first question, but if you could just summarize for our small caps audience, you've got this amazing product and you've got commercialization strategies in place. But what are the main benefits of this acquisition, do you think, just sort of in a very summarized way for our audience?
Yeah, look, the acquisition takes us to commercial scale right away. We will be selling Prolupin's isolate next week. We will be selling Buntine Protein and producing it out of that factory early 2024. Very exciting. The asset is a steal of a deal. It would cost us over $20 million to manufacture that asset. It is perfect, ready to go for our needs. If we were to fully utilize that asset according to our plans, we would be able to more than triple turnover with very high and attractive EBITDA margins for the overall company. So it takes us from, we have a lot of interested people. We have a beautiful pipeline. You're going to see in our materials that we filed this morning, we have 400 tons of pipeline committed, and we're going to walk into that facility ready to go with orders and start fulfilling them. So very excited.
That is fantastic, Jay. Now, you mentioned a manufacturing facility. What are the company's plans to upgrade that manufacturing facility in Bremen? And how is the company going to fund the acquisition and the upgrade of the plant?
Yeah, that's great, Jess. I want to give you a little bit of context, Jess. Before I became CEO, we had articulated a plan to market, which was based on a very large infrastructure project, $100 million plus, huge greenfield new build in Western Australia, near where lupins are grown. We wanted to apply for grants and raise a lot of money and do a stacked financing model. One of my goals last year was, hey, let's simplify this. We can still have that vision on a dream board that is going to take several years. Let's get to market now with our best product, focus on that, use the resources that we have available, and become commercial. So this acquisition, this plant enables us to control our own destiny and fulfill that. How are we going to pay for it? It's a 4.2 million Australian dollar acquisition. As I mentioned, the facility would cost us over $20 million to build, and that company has invested or had invested over 70 million Australian dollars in itself and its product development and manufacturing over the last 5 or 6 years. So it's a really attractive deal. We're funding it through a capital raise, an equity raise, which we just completed successfully. Very excited. It was anchored by and included many of our largest investors who increased their positions. So it's something that we're super excited about. How we're going to expand it. The future expansion is really to get, at the moment, it'll produce about 500 tons. So as you heard, we're bringing 400 tons, so we're going to start with good utilization. We're going to double that expansion. We're going to double that capacity with an investment and also add drying capability with an investment of $3 million Australian over the next 12 months. We're going to finance that a little bit from this raise, but also through vendor financing and some support from some European partners.
That's amazing, Jace. Congratulations on your capital raise, particularly in the market as it stands at the moment. And having a fully aligned sort of shareholder base is really testament to your product and your strategy. So congratulations, first of all. Now,
thanks so much.
So in terms of the acquisition, how do you think it's going to impact the company's growth plans in the next coming years?
So this acquisition transforms our potential for growth. Most of the trailing revenue that you would see as a wide open agriculture investor is from our food brand, Dirty Clean Food, which of course I love. Our focus of the company going forward is how to scale up the Buntine Protein. And it is a different business. This is a big, chunky business, which is great because you're going to have potential out of this facility to create 3 times the turnover as our trailing Dirty Clean Food revenues in a relatively short amount of time. Also, the difference between the cost of lupins, which is $300 to $400 per ton feedstock, and the value we can get from selling Buntine Protein. And yes, there are conversions. It's not quite this simple, but it is very representative. We previously gave guidance that we would sell Buntine Protein for in between $10,000 and $15,000 per ton. What we've noticed in the market through the acquisition of Prolupin is that they were selling their product for in between 15 and 20,000 euros per ton. It is a very large difference. So we're thinking, we're certainly giving guidance that the pricing is higher than we expected. We will see where it sits between what we previously said and what Prolupin was doing as we get high volume contracts, but it is definitely looking like pricing will be much better than expected. That gives you the kind of sense of how we can make pretty attractive margins. You're talking about $400 in, $20,000 out. So very exciting.
Yeah, fantastic, Jay. And that's just in the European market. Now, does the company have plans to produce in the Australian market down the track? Or, could you give our audience a little bit of a breakdown on that?
Yes, we do. Also last week, we announced, we gave a market an update on our Australian manufacturing plans. We have a wonderful partner that's going to give us line of sight to produce very, very large quantities. Buntine Protein should demand warrant, which is exactly what we hope to do. So this is a super exciting project that'll help us. I think the capacity is north of 5 times what we can produce at Prolupin. So it really gives us a clean runway to sell aggressively and engage, and most importantly, engage with very large partners and prospects who will need 1,000 plus tons in a year for a hit product. So it is a game changer for our potential to convert indications of interest with large global multinationals in the food business to orders and design wins into products that are sold in multiple regions. So this is a very big development with us. We love the partner. It's a dairy company in Victoria. We love the partner. They've been very supportive of us. and we're looking forward to having a long and continuing to evolve a positive relationship with them.
That's amazing. So now, in addition to this new, partner in Victoria, are there any other sort of key near-term catalysts that investors should look out for?
Yeah. So what you're going to see is we've completed this capital raise. The acquisition is complete. We're selling aggressively. So we have a pipeline, and we're going to be converting that pipeline. Also, you'll see. Obviously, we wouldn't have made an acquisition in Europe if there wasn't interest in that region. So you'll see an update as we finalize our sales strategy in Europe. So that would be a big box to tick for the company. Shortly, we'll be converting or announcing customers as they come on in Australia. Additionally, I think you'll see. I said previously that I was looking for strategic options for our food brand, Dirty Clean Food. As you know, I built the brand riding around in a truck 4 years ago with some of our regenerative farmers. So I absolutely love it, and I think it's undervalued in the market. I actually think that Dirty Clean Food has negative market value for us at the moment because investors want us to focus all of our resources on Buntine Protein. I actually want us to focus our resources and attention on Buntine Protein too. So we're looking at strategic options for the food brand that will be positive for the company, have a positive outcome for WOA, and a positive outcome for that brand. I think this is really misunderstood. Very recently, Instacart had a $6 billion US IPO. It trades at twice revenues. I think Dirty Clean Food is a smaller but comparable business in the sense that it's a digital heavy business with a unique point of differentiation that's localized. And I think that we'll look for some partners who want to make that work in Perth. It's had a very good improvement in its financials. So I've already begun that process with our CFO. We'll provide an update to the market by Christmas on how that process is going.
I just have one final question to leave with you, or to ask you before we leave. And that is, can you give our audience sort of 2 or 3 key takeaways as to why the company is potentially a good investment for them?
Yeah, so the reason the company is a good investment, we have massive potential from Buntine Protein. It is a completely differentiated, very strong competitive moat product. It's the right product at the right time, and we've been fortunate enough to have a way to ramp up our production and take advantage of this. That's number one. That could more than triple our turnover in a short amount of time. It's going to have very high, attractive EBITDA margins. It's going to create transformative cash flow for a company that is perceived as a really great feel-good story. That's going to go from a really great feel-good story to a feel-good story that has great cash flow. So that's what we're focused on as a company. That's what we're trying to do here. So that's why it's worth another look, and I believe we have very bright skies.
I agree, Jay.
Very bright future.
Yeah, congratulations once again, Jay. Fantastic. It's great to see the company trading on the ASX again. Funded, a new acquisition, a new commercial strategy. As you said, right place, right time. And really looking forward to having you back on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.